Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. Todd Mattis is off this week. It is Wednesday, the 8th of October. This is CTV News. Tonight, not a trace. Cadaver dogs fail to find the missing Sullivan children. Focused on care, province identifies priorities in a new health plan.
It's a big change in temperatures for the end of the week. Expect cool, even chilly fall weather both Thursday and Friday.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. Nova Scotia's Deputy Chief Medical Examiner ruled Ryan Sawyer's death was a homicide resulting from neck compression. The testimony came at day 3 of Alexander Levy's trial for manslaughter and criminal negligence causing death. A warning for you now, CTV News is one of the media outlets that have obtained some video evidence from the night in question, and some of the footage may be upsetting to some viewers. CTV's Callum Smith continues his coverage.
This is cell phone footage captured by a woman named Nina Look, who was in line at the now closed Halifax Ale House in the early morning hours of Christmas Eve 2022. She didn't identify Ryan Sawyer, but other witnesses have. During cross-examination today from Alexander Levy's lawyer Jack Bennett, Look insisted Sawyer was in a chokehold. Levy is accused of choking Sawyer to death. Look agreed with Bennett. She couldn't tell if the arm around Sawyer was flexing or not, but assumed there would be a decent amount of force if he couldn't move. But she said once police arrived and began CPR, she didn't want to watch anymore and left. Some of the moments leading up to that were captured on this security footage from the ale house when Ryan Sawyer in the plaid shirt on the street and his brother Kyle with a toque were kicked out of the bar. Kyle Sawyer previously told the trial he had words with a bouncer when his brother stepped in. Then Kyle pushed the bouncer before the brothers were restrained on the roadway. In the afternoon, Nova Scotia Deputy Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Eric Mont was called by the Crown to testify. He determined that Sawyer's death was a homicide caused by a lack of oxygen getting to his brain from neck compression, leading to cardiac arrest. He said the irreversible brain damage came from Sawyer's heart stopping, depriving him of oxygen, and that this is the only case he's encountered where someone in a neck restraint has suffered a fatal arrhythmia. Paramedics told the trial yesterday they couldn't find a pulse on Sawyer, and CPR was unsuccessful. Mont also said elevated alcohol and some THC levels in toxicology findings did not cause Sawyer's death. Testimony continues Thursday. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Halifax police have made a second arrest now in connection with hateful graffiti that was spray painted on all 3 Halifax synagogues last month. Police say they arrested a 32-year-old man in Halifax yesterday in relation to the anti-Semitic messages that included hateful and violent language and symbols. Russell Jared Curry has been charged with 1 count of public incitement of hatred and 3 counts of property damage and mischief related to religious property. Police had arrested another man last month after surveillance video helped track down a suspect. 2 firefighters injured, 2 people rescued in a fire in Moncton this morning. Firefighters arrived to the 3-story building. 3 or 4 people had already escaped, but 2 others remained inside. Firefighters used ladders to reach the 2nd and 3rd floors, but 2 members of the Moncton Fire Department were injured in the response.
We were able to make a difference in 2 people's lives today. That's huge for us. And, obviously our folks risk themselves, and so the 2 that are injured, they consider that as part of the job. But at the same time, they can have the sense of satisfaction that everyone that was on scene today contributed to making a difference in those 2 victims' lives.
Should tell you the 2 residents were taken to hospital with unknown injuries. 1 firefighter treated at the scene, the other treated and released from hospital. There's no word yet on a cause for the fire. Caring for New Brunswick. That's the title of the province's new 5-year health plan unveiled in St. John today. It will focus on 6 main areas. CTV's Avery McCrae breaks it down.
Putting people at the heart of health care. That's the focus of the newly revealed provincial health plan, Caring for New Brunswick.
Getting access to care at any age is a real challenge. We have a pressure on our hospitals and our acute care system that has grown and grown and grown over the years.
The 5-year plan outlines numerous goals to transform and create a stronger, more resilient healthcare system. Success will be measured in 6 priority areas. Primary care, ensuring New Brunswickers have access to what they need when they need it. Workforce, making sure healthcare providers are there to support the needs of people. Seniors, and supporting them with the increased care levels needed. Mental health and addictions, which the province says is fundamental to the collective health of the province. Acute care, improving the availability and access for surgeries, cardiac care, and cancer, among others. And connected care, which would ensure all touch points people need to receive the best possible care are intertwined digitally. The plan's success rides on improvements to the first priority area, primary care.
If everybody in New Brunswick had access to primary care so that they stayed well, did not get sick, did not need to go to the hospitals, I think we will have accomplished what I want to do in the time that I work with this government.
Today, around 77% of New Brunswickers have a primary care provider, but only 34% of those people can actually get care within 5 days.
That number needs to be higher, and we've committed to getting that number up and improving it year over year of our mandate. The way we do that is through actions that are specified in this provincial healthcare plan.
The province says the plan was built based on the concerns of New Brunswickers and the priorities expressed by healthcare officials. Now, Bruce, one thing that wasn't mentioned as part of today's announcement was how much this plan will all cost. Speaking with reporters afterwards, the Premier reassured that all items will either be covered in this year's budget or will be covered in future budgets. But no hard dollar amounts were given, Bruce.
Okay, thank you, Avery. CTV's Avery McRae reporting from St. John tonight. Here's a live look now at Digby, where it's 15 degrees and raining. Glory be. Time for our first look at the forecast with Kaylin Mitchell. A lot of us have been waiting for this, and this is, I guess, really the first significant rain we've had in a while now.
Yeah, it is. And again, we need about like 2 or 3 of these type of rain events a week, basically through the end of this month and through November if we could get it. But I am tracking the steady progress this cold front is making across the Maritimes this evening. It's pretty easy to pick up which areas that front has already gone through, and that's locations that have seen temperatures cool down into the low teens. I would say Digby is getting onto the cooler side of that front right at this very moment. Certainly parts of Cumberland County, the north of Nova Scotia have, with the temperature near Amherst coming down to 13 degrees. You can see that front's come across PEI, and of course has already cleared New Brunswick. It will continue to make its way in and across Nova Scotia as we move through this evening and tonight. Another way we can pick up on the position of that front is to look for the change in the wind direction. And areas that have gotten in behind the front, the winds will become north and northwest. You can see it's happening right now right around the Digby Neck in northern areas of Nova Scotia, but not quite yet near Atlantic coastal areas of that province or in the east. So more rain is still to come. It's a general 10 to 30 millimeters. It's going to continue to make its way through this evening and tonight. We'll be down to some scattered showers in the region for tomorrow. And I'll have more in the extended forecast later on. However, I did want to bring you an update as well on Tropical Storm Jerry. Maximum sustained winds right now are near 95 kilometers per hour. It's moving towards the northwest at 37 kilometers per hour. Still expected to become a Category 1 hurricane, but now in the forecast track holding east even of Bermuda and continuing an eastward movement, keeping it out over the open ocean waters of the Atlantic, which means it is not going to be an issue for us here in the Maritimes or Atlantic Canada. Bruce, that is the same sort of track that a lot of those storm systems have taken so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. Good news there as well. All right, thank you, sir. Full forecast coming up in about 15, 20 minutes or so. All right, it seems unbelievable, but a renewed effort to locate the missing Sullivan children has once again resulted in nothing. Jack and Lily vanished from their rural home more than 5 months ago, prompting a massive ongoing investigation. The latest tactic saw specially trained cadaver dogs from Western Canada comb a large area, but they too found no sign of the missing children. CTV's Hafsa Arif has the latest.
Along the 40-kilometer stretch in Lansdowne Station, where 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan lived, cadaver dogs combed through woods, trails, and pipeline paths, searching for any trace of the missing siblings. But today, RCMP say they've come up empty-handed.
No human remains were found related to this or any other investigation.
Jack and Lily were last seen on May 2nd, and while family members have long asked for cadaver dogs to be used, RCMP say the decision was about timing and strategy.
And then in conjunction with police dog services, this was the timing that was most appropriate to bring in our human remains detection dogs to kind of take that to the next step.
It took the team 3 days to cover the full area, from around the home to the trails and the spot where a pink blanket was found months ago. Experts say a failed search doesn't always mean there's nothing there.
Sometimes the smell doesn't reach the surface, and sometimes it just doesn't work, and the cadaver dogs aren't successful. So just because they didn't indicate something on the search, it doesn't mean there aren't remains there.
RCMP are still treating this as a missing persons case. They're still receiving tips and have hours of surveillance video to go through.
Even though they say it's still a missing person investigation, they've got a lot of assets committed to conducting an investigation. And they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't feel there was people to investigate.
For now, there are no new searches planned unless new information comes in.
Or we decide that there is a new technology or a new avenue or something that could help us, we would deploy that.
After 5 long months, the search for Jack and Lily continues. Quieter now, but not over. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
And just a reminder, for more on the Sullivan case or any of our CTV Atlantic stories, feel free to visit our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. As the wildfire season winds down, there are questions tonight about the cause of some of the bigger ones in New Brunswick and how the province needs to prepare for future wildfire seasons. CTV's Laura Brown has more.
It's a welcome sight and sound for many, including Department of Natural Resource officials who were out of the rain and inside the legislature, talking about this year's wildfire season.
This is probably one of the worst years that we've had.
422 fires have burned so far, almost twice the 10-year average. The season usually ends on October 31st, but it's been so dry that even today's rain hasn't stopped DNR from considering extending the season.
Is it even being investigated? What's going on down there?
The number of fires has MLA Chris Austin asking questions about their cause. During a legislative committee, he asked DNR's top civil servants the status of those investigations. In speaking to reporters after, DNR's deputy minister said those investigations are ongoing.
No, I don't want to speculate at this point other than we are completing an investigation of the start of that fire, and we'll see what the conclusion is after that.
Austin wasn't satisfied with the answer.
I think it's important that the departments do their job to find out how that fire started. It's not for me to say.
Are you concerned that they're not doing that? Are you concerned that they're not?
I am concerned that there's not enough diligence in the investigation of these fires and to figure out how they started and make sure the public's aware. And how do we mitigate that in the future, most importantly? Those are important questions.
The deputy minister said a lightning storm was the cause of some of the August fires in northeastern New Brunswick. According to DNR's annual report, in 2023, 199 of that year's wildfires were caused by humans and industry, and 10 by lightning. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
It appears to have been a success. It's now been 6 months since the toll booths came down in the bridges that span the Halifax harbor. New numbers indicate traffic is up and accidents are down. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness has a look at the stats for us.
With the toll plazas gone on the McDonald and McKay bridges, traffic is flowing freely.
Now it's a lot more smooth sailing going through there, and it seems like a lot more people are getting used to the speed limit, only slowing down a little bit, so it's been a lot easier, way less hectic.
Numbers just released by Halifax Harbor Bridges shows from April to September, accidents are down by 40% compared to the same time period last year. During those same 6 months, traffic has increased by 10%, going from 17.2 million crossings to 18.9 million.
The reduction in collisions is very much a positive. Anytime we can reduce collisions on our roads and highways is a positive thing for Nova Scotians.
The business community is glad to see the uptick in people heading over the bridges, but Tim Rusesco says he'd like to see things go a step further.
And I'd love to see them go the next step and make the ferry between downtown Dartmouth and downtown Halifax free. I know that would help pedestrians and tourists and residents utilize both sides of the harbor on a daily basis.
Tim Rosesco says the idea of a free ferry has been discussed, adding that his counterparts at downtown Halifax would also like to see free ferry service crossing the harbor. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Thank you, John. Halifax Regional Council has voted in favor of restricting water lot development and infilling in Dartmouth Cove. Public hearing last night, council approving bylaw amendments to protect the area. It was 13-3 with councillors Hensby and Young and Mayor Fillmore dissenting. The property owner had wanted to use the area to construct housing, while a group of concerned residents wanted to preserve the land and water for public use. Last month, council voted to proceed with bylaw changes that would restrict infilling in the area, similar to restrictions already in place for the Northwest Arm on the Halifax side.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A St. Margaret's area couple made the 90-minute drive to Moncton today, and it was worth the trip, we'd say. They came to pick up a massive check after winning big in the lottery. And while they're certainly happy and grateful, the couple say the windfall won't really change too much in their lives. Here's CTV's Derek Haggett.
Gary Westhaver has been buying lotto tickets on a regular basis for years. But the last one he purchased in Miramichi was a winner, a big winner.
It really does not feel real. It's so much money.
Westhaver and his wife Sharon are $15 million richer after winning the Lotto Max draw late last month. Gary was checking his ticket online and got a message saying, "Major prize, call this number." A woman on the other line told him he was a millionaire.
That prisoner knocked me off the chair. And we had a little chat after that, and I've been nervous and feeling crazy since.
The St. Margaret's couple will give a portion of the $15 million windfall to their grandchildren, while some will go to charity, but the couple won't say where that money will go.
What we do will be done anonymously because that's just the way we are. Like, I don't need my name on TV, except for tonight it's going to be on TV.
The couple, still a bit stunned from today's ceremony and all the attention that comes with it, say the money won't make things any different.
There's just a few more zeros in my bank account. That's it.
We will never let money come between the relationship we've had for 54 years. We're still in love, and that's about all I can tell you.
A life-altering event that they say won't change them at all. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Winners all the way around there. Congratulations to the Westhavers. And this is really interesting. Tonight's CTV News web poll, we're asking, are you more likely to buy lottery tickets when a Maritimer wins a big jackpot like what we just saw? Yes or no for this one? Weigh in, as always, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Okay, still ahead tonight, some rainy weather continuing in our region tonight, welcome though it may be. Kaylin will have all of those details. Coming up next, though, more mandatory measures.
No watering of lawns, no washing cars at home.
The latest Nova Scotia community asking residents to conserve water following months and months of dry weather. That's coming up next. Stay with us. Mandatory water restrictions are now in place for another part of Nova Scotia. People living in East Hants are being told to conserve water wherever possible. CTV's Vanessa Wright has more.
People living in East Hants Regional Municipality are now under water restrictions.
No watering of lawns, no washing cars at home, nothing recreational like filling pools or hot tubs.
East Hants is the latest region to enforce those orders. West Hants put them in place more than a month ago, right around the same time they went in for the Dartmouth area.
We've had more resilience, luckily, than others, but it is time to be more serious about our water conditions, have mandatory restrictions instead of voluntary at this time, and we're really looking to engage the public to help out and contribute any way they can.
Meanwhile, Yarmouth's mayor is facing heat for her comments about the situation, encouraging residents to take matters into their own hands. Her post on Facebook said in part, "Here's the answer. Drill a well, find a way. This is not going away, it's going to get worse. You need a drilled well. It's not up to any level of government to drill your well, but there are programs that can assist."
Our water utility will not provide water forever in every drought season. So all I'm saying is we're going through a drought now. I'm also saying, and I did say it in the post, a drought is not an emergency anymore. It's becoming a way of life. So it's been happening year after year after year. So what do you do in that case? You start to prepare for the future.
East Hants officials say they will provide weekly updates to the public until mandatory restrictions are no longer needed. I spoke with a number of people living in this region, many of which are in support of these restrictions, telling me they recognize the seriousness of this dry climate and that the community should be willing to be a part of a solution. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Elmsdale, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, Vanessa. Up next, a bit of a cool down in the way weather-wise. A chilly and gusty day ahead tomorrow. Kaylin will take a gander at those details next. A live and colorful look at Truro on this Wednesday evening. 6:27 right now, a very comfortable 18 degrees, although other parts of the region have already seen a significant cool down as this rainstorm moves through. Do you call it a storm even? It's
I tend to hold off using the word storm until we've got a combination of both precipitation and wind warnings. That's just because here in the Maritimes, well, not lately, but typically we're used to a fair amount of active weather in the region. So, I mean, that's only me personally, though. But there is some rain that's going to be coming through. The winds are certainly gusty with this weather system, and there is a big cool down that is going to follow up on it.
Much more like typical October, I guess.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So we'll see that in a moment. Let's take a look at weather conditions across the country. So beginning out west, we've got low teens right now around the south coast of BC. Vancouver, Victoria sitting at around 13 degrees. It's a little bit cooler in a few areas of Alberta, 10 at Edmonton and 11 at Calgary. And I only said cooler because in Saskatchewan right now, it's sunny and warmer. Saskatoon sitting at 21 and 24 at Regina. Winnipeg, not too bad, sitting at 18 degrees. 7 at Whitehorse right now, 6 at Yellowknife. Iqaluit sitting at 1 degree, so certainly chilly there with a mix of sun and cloud, or actually partly cloudy conditions. 13 degrees at Toronto, 11 at Ottawa, 15 at Montreal. Here in the Maritimes, 11 at Fredericton, 19 at Halifax, 13 degrees and rain being reported at Charlottetown, and 17 degrees at St. John's. Taking a look at our forecast timeline. So Truro, we saw those very dark clouds, and there should be some rain in the vicinity or showing up quite shortly if it hasn't already. The main band of rain will continue to make its way into Nova Scotia as we move through the evening hours and then clears east of Cape Breton during the overnight. In tomorrow's forecast, a mix of sun and cloud for the Maritimes. Winds are going to be gusty. It is going to be a cool to chilly day, and there will be some scattered showers to develop across Prince Edward Island, northern eastern areas of Nova Scotia, as well as a chance of some spotty showers in the north of New Brunswick. I mentioned the winds. Now, we've already had some gusty conditions. Some of the wind gusts getting up to around 40, 50 kilometers per hour in the southwest winds. The winds in behind the front are becoming northwest. They do diminish a little bit initially tonight, but then they pick back up through the day on Thursday. So Thursday afternoon, we're back into gusty or blustery conditions for the Maritimes. A lot of the peak wind gusts coming up to around 40 or 50 kilometers per hour in the region. Now, low temperatures in the forecast for tonight will be getting chilliest in the province of New Brunswick. A lot of lows falling between 3 and 6 degrees, between -1 and +3 in the northwestern corner of that province. Most low temperatures for Prince Edward Island tonight, falling into a range of 6 to 9 degrees and between 6 and 10 for most areas of Nova Scotia. And then tomorrow, well, what a change from the start of this week when we had high temperatures. High 20s in parts of northern New Brunswick, even some near 30 degrees. Tomorrow's highs between 8 and 11. Central and southern areas of New Brunswick likewise much cooler, between 10 and 14 degrees. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow with high temperatures between 8 and 10. There'll be a few showers moving through. It'll be a gusty, somewhat chilly day, as it will be in eastern areas of Nova Scotia, where the high temperatures tomorrow between 10 and 13 degrees, so down into the low teens. Northern and central areas of Nova Scotia with high temperatures between 10 and 12 degrees. Chance at a couple spotty showers. Northwest winds, it'll be 30 with gusts up to around 50 kilometers per hour. It'll be gusty as well in the southwest of Nova Scotia. High temperatures there between 10 and 13 for Thursday. Additional rain to come. It's mostly for parts of Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia with that front moving through. Again, expecting some general totals of between 10 and 30 millimeters for a large portion of the Maritimes. It's not going to be enough on its own to relieve the drought conditions. We've talked about this in the past, but we need several weather systems like this basically over the next month and a half to really put a dent into the drought conditions in the Maritimes. Sunny conditions in the forecast for New Brunswick through the end of this week and into the start of the Thanksgiving weekend. A mix of sun and cloud on Sunday. Next week's forecast, a little bit of uncertainty here. There's expected to be a coastal low developing and moving up the eastern coastline of the United States. It could bring the Maritimes rain, but the arrival of that rain right now could be anywhere between the start of next week or later next week towards the middle part of the week. So possible rain there Monday and Tuesday right now in the forecast. For Nova Scotia, some sunshine, some cooler temperatures to close out this week and get the upcoming weekend started. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, and then maybe watching for some rain during the first part of next week, and then a mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday. And then for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, we've got sunshine and cooler conditions on Friday. Highs up to 16 though on Saturday. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, and then the possibility some wet weather returns to the Maritimes, sort of that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame of next week, Bruce.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Wake-up weather still to come toward the end of the broadcast. Coming up next, we'll talk about fall colors, why they happen, and whether the drought conditions we've had have any effect on what we see. And we also have this story in the scene.
Hi, sexies. It's Tracy, hon.
And I'm your girl, Martina.
And you're watching The Scene with Katie Kelly.
And you're going to get an exclusive first look at Tracy and Martina going out west, the movie. Yeah. We got the trailer for you coming up.
Yeah, that's coming up a bit later.
Yes. So stay tuned.
Don't touch the dial.
Virgin Radio's 5K a day is back tomorrow, 7 a.m.
And join us for your chance to win a gift card to St. Louis Bar and Grill.
And we have 4 passes to the Blue Nose Ghost Festival. Good luck.
If you're a fan of the fall colors, and a surprising number of people are, you are probably in your glory right now. The trees around here are displaying their usual splendor and maybe even a little more than usual. Joining us tonight to talk about it, we are happy to welcome a research scientist in forest genomics, Ian Major. Thanks for speaking with us tonight, Ian. Really appreciate it.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Your biography says that you're interested in the photosynthesis of trees. We all kind of learned about that process in school, but I'm thinking this is kind of an underrated phenomenon, isn't it? Trees and plant turning light into food. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite remarkable. And the compounds and proteins that are involved in photosynthesis are, I think they're the most abundant compounds in the world.
Wow.
So it's incredible the scale at which everything green out there is at the base of turning the sun's energy into a format that we can all use, sugars.
And is photosynthesis the process related to why trees turn color in the fall?
It's a little bit. So the changing colors in fall is a process whereby the trees are preparing for winter. So they're kind of shutting down this photosynthesis, the making their sugars. And so those green colors that are important for photosynthesis start to slowly go away, they fade away. And then we're left with the brilliant yellows, oranges, and reds that we associate with the fall.
Yeah, so the trees aren't actually turning color. It's the absence of the chlorophyll that is revealing the other colors. Do I have that right?
So that's quite correct for the yellows and the oranges. So those are carotenoids. Those are the same pigments that give carrots and pumpkins, for example, their orange colors. But the reds, those are anthocyanins, and those are the same colors that are responsible for reds and darker colors and strawberries, blueberries. So those are made at the end of the year. So, and that comes along with the nice warm days and cool nights.
I feel like I should know this, but I just don't off the top of my head. Do specific types of trees turn specific colors every year, or does it vary based on, you know, climate and weather and that kind of thing?
So it does depend on the species. I think we're quite blessed in the north or the east of Canada. A lot of the red colors are associated with sugar maple, red maple, and several oaks. And so those are quite specific to our region of the world. And then some of the bright golden yellows are things like aspens, cottonwoods, birch. So it's kind of species dependent, but then also it can also depend on the climate.
All right, so as you know, we have had an exceptionally dry year here in the Maritime provinces. I know you've been dry in Quebec as well, and parts of Ontario. A lot of people say that they notice the leaves turning early because of presumably the dry weather. So why does that happen?
Yeah, so that's true. I mean, so in general, the trees they don't have the benefit of a long-range weather forecast. So they're preparing for winter from cues from the environment. Normally, that's the shortening of the days. Temperature also makes a difference. But it's now pretty well known that drought can have a pretty strong effect. So summer droughts, that causes stress in the trees, and they kind of, the peripheral leaves will kind of shut down and they'll go through an early senescence. So we can see an early change in colors from summer droughts.
So if the opposite happened, sorry to interrupt, if the opposite happened and we had a really wet year, would fall be kind of delayed, or is it, again, as you say, more a direct result of the shorter days and the cooler temperatures?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. Then so that the timing has a pretty strong effect as well. So it depends when the precipitation falls. So precipitation kind of in the summer, I don't think it will necessarily delay the changing color, but precipitation when we normally expect the autumnal colors to occur in late September and October, that can delay the changing colors, and it can also shorten that period where we see the changing colors.
I know
there's lots of
I know we've only got about 30 seconds left, and I just have to ask you this, and I know this is not necessarily your field of expertise, but a lot of us every year go out and rake up hundreds of bags of leaves all over our property and our lawns. Would we be better off mulching all of that and leaving it in the grass, or is it okay to rake them up, bag them up?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a field of research around that topic. So I think that's kind of a lot of that is maybe individual preference. My personal preference, I kind of would lean more toward leaving the leaves where they are and mulching them.
Enjoying them as they lay. Ian, we'll have to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Ian Major is a research scientist in forest genomics, joining us tonight from Quebec City to reveal some of the mysteries of the fall foliage. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, in the Lifeline tonight, a new study suggests the risks of taking a common prescribed opiate likely outweigh the benefits of treating chronic pain. CTV's Amanda Debison tells us all about it.
A commonly prescribed opioid may not be doing much to ease long-term pain. The study, published in the journal BMJ Evidence-Based Medicine, questions the effectiveness and safety of tramadol, a drug often seen as a safer alternative. The study concluded the synthetic opioids' benefits for chronic pain are limited and may not even reach the minimal threshold patients can feel. Researchers analyzed 19 clinical trials involving more than 6,500 people. They found tramadol only had a slight effect on reducing chronic pain, along with an increased risk of side effects like nausea, dizziness, constipation, and even cardiac effects. The study's lead author says the findings suggest tramadol's risks likely outweigh its benefits, and that doctors should consider alternatives before prescribing it. E-cigarettes are fueling a new wave of nicotine addiction. According to the World Health Organization, millions of children are now hooked on vaping. The WHO says in countries with data, children are on average 9 times more likely than adults to vape. The UN Health Agency said the industry was promoting vapes as supposedly less harmful products than cigarettes, but in fact was aggressively targeting young people and getting children addicted. It found at least 86 million adults and 15 million children aged 13 to 15 are vaping. Finally, women are genetically at higher risk of clinical depression than men. That's according to a new study by Australian researchers. Billed as one of the largest ever studies of its kind, scientists poured through the DNA of almost 200,000 people with depression to pinpoint shared genetic flags. Women had almost twice as many of these genetic markers linked to depression than men. Some of these genetic changes could also alter biological pathways linked to metabolism or hormone production. Researchers say the findings could lead to changes in how depression is treated in women. The study was published in Nature Communications. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for The Lifeline.
We are on the scene now with Katie, and you've got big news to share about everybody's favorite Cape Breton comedy duo.
I sure do, Bruce. Tracy and Martina, they're big screen bound, and we've got an exclusive look.
My name is Tracy. I'm from Glace Bay, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia.
Okay, I'm Martina. From Waterford.
The outrageous Cape Breton duo, Tracy and Martina, are taking their comedy to a new level.
We have a big announcement.
Yes.
We're going to Alberta.
They're making the leap to the big screen.
We made a movie.
Yeah.
It was kind of a secret, and it's premiering at the Charlottetown International Film Festival.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, chills, full body chills.
It's called Tracy and Martina Going Out West.
When we went to Alberta on tour, we made a documentary of the whole thing.
The film captures their unpredictable travel adventures.
Look behind the curtain.
People don't get to see us like that a whole bunch. It's always just like, we're very polished, what we put online.
Yes,
and all that
very
kind of stuff.
intentional and thoughtful with what we post on our social media and on our podcast.
So we're being vulnerable in the
This is something
documentary.
else.
Behind the camera, their longtime collaborator, director Moose.
They're fun. I like them.
Called up Moose and I was like, listen, Bye, would you mind tagging along? Like I said, it'll be fun. You stay in the hotel rooms with us and all that. Get to
Yes.
see different parts of Canada.
Yeah.
Come along and film us.
They're unpredictable. I kind of just let them do what they're going to do, and I think that's what makes them magical.
Moose says Tracy and Martina Going Out West is more than just a road trip comedy.
I would say it's about Tracy and Martina's friendship at the end of the day. I think it's very honest and real. And you get to see a whole other level of Tracy and Martina that nobody has ever seen before.
I don't need you to be proud of me, because I'm proud of me.
Their Charlottetown screening is already sold out. A familiar feeling on Prince Edward Island.
We're very famous around PEI.
Yeah.
The other
Last
island.
time we did a show in PEI, we sold out. 450 people were at that show. I couldn't get over it. I gotta be able to trust you. That's the thing.
For Moose, the film marks another milestone, his first feature film.
It's a dream. It's really nice. I think I was 15. I started doing music videos, and the goal at the end of the day was always to get into feature films.
And for Tracy and Martina, it's just the beginning.
We'd like to have a TV show.
Yes. So maybe this will spin off into something else. You never know, right?
We would like to have a TV show.
That looks like so much fun.
Aren't they awesome?
They are awesome.
You should have them interview you someday, Bruce.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah.
He's like, why did you say that?
Yeah, I know. Now I got to make an excuse, and you know. And then,
I'm sorry about that. I was just kidding. Someone in my ear just said dangerous. Okay, the Charlottetown Film Festival, which is where their movie is going to premiere, is on from October 15th to 19th. You can't see theirs because it's sold out, but lots of great films to see. The full lineup for the Charlottetown Film Festival is available online.
And Music Nova Scotia rolling out the red carpet.
Yes, so the 2025 Music and Industry Awards brunch has officially been announced. The event takes place Sunday, October 26th at the Rod Grand in Yarmouth, with the ceremony beginning at 10:30. This year's brunch will hand out awards in 23 music and 8 industry categories with live performances from Morgan Toney, King Woos, Mo Kenny, and many more. Tickets are on sale now, Bruce, and every year I host this brunch, so it's a lot of fun for me, and it's a lot of fun for all those music and industry people that win some great awards.
Nice. I would think so.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Here's tonight's primetime lineup.
With Crash and Sarah Beth.
Hey, when have you been the embarrassing adult?
Oh, every day of my life. More on that tomorrow morning.
Plus, win some money, hopefully with Beat the Bank at 7 o'clock.
On the markets today, the Dow ended the day down just 1 point. A major Canadian energy player is changing its offer to purchase a smaller player in that sector. B&M Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
Cenovus is raising its takeover offer of MEG Energy, even though the MEG board already approved its original offer. The new proposal values MEG at $8.6 billion, including debt, and that's $7 million more than the first offer. Cenovus says shareholders had requested changes. Strathcona Resources also has an offer on the table, but MEG's board has urged shareholders to reject it. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar barely moved. It ended the day at 71.65. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 62.02. Western Canadian Select is up to $50.65. And the TSX gained 150 points today, ending the day at 30,501. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Thank you, Morella. Now we'll head outside to Kaylin on the weather deck. Has the rain started out there yet?
No, don't need the umbrella quite yet, but it is on the doorstep, so that's going to be changing here in the north end of Halifax within the hour and within 2 at most. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight, and it's a beautiful shot here, and this is featuring some fall colors near Middle Clyde River, Nova Scotia, sent in by Jackson Lohr. I want to thank Jackson very much for taking the time to share this beautiful picture with us. And for Middle Clyde River for tomorrow, it's a mix of sun and cloud. It's going to be a cooler day, high temperature near 11 degrees, a northwest wind. But like today, it's going to be gusty. There'll be some gusts up to around 50 kilometers per hour. Just turned quite gusty out here on the weather deck. Taking a look at the day planner for tomorrow, morning temperatures will be mostly around the low to mid single digits for a large part of the Maritimes. And in the afternoon, a lot of the high temperatures topping out between 9 and 13 degrees. There will be some scattered showers around the north of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and northern and eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Bruce.
Okay, thank you, Kaylin. Coming up tomorrow here on CTV News at 6, servicing the debt. Murphy's Logic looks at promises made to get Nova Scotia's financial house in order and why and how those priorities seem to have changed. That's tomorrow, CTV News at 6 o'clock. Finally, tonight, some original artwork by the late television host and painter Bob Ross is set to be auctioned off. The auction house Bonham says 30 of Ross's paintings will be sold at various auctions. The first, set for November 11th, will feature the 2 pieces we're showing you here, Home in the Valley and Winter's Peace. Funds raised will support public television in the United States. Ross's show, The Joy of Painting, aired for more than a decade on PBS back in the 1980s and 90s, and a lot of us have very fond memories of that program and the artist himself. That is the program for this Wednesday night. The rebroadcast starts in just a moment over on CTV2 and, of course, CTVNewsAtlantic.ca updates right around the clock. I'm Bruce Frisco in for Todd Battis this week. I will be back with your next newscast at 11:30 this evening. Thanks again for watching this one. Have a good night. We'll see you soon.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.